Okay, today we're going to go from Genesis 37. It was something that hit me today, and I want to make sure I got it out to everyone as far as it's concerned. This is Genesis 37. It is talking about Joseph. For those who know, Joseph was the teenager who, when he's 17, he received a dream, started receiving dreams, and later he would go on to basically be directly underneath the king for nations. And his brothers did a number of things to him, but we're going to talk about that really quickly here. It says Joseph, when he was 17 years old, was sheep herding the flock with his brothers. The boy was with his sons Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's secondary wives. Remember, there's primary and secondary wives. And Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Now, Jacob loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a distinctive multicolored tunic. So he made him a nice, distinctive just outfit that just for him to say, I love you so much because you're my young kid. His brothers saw their father's love Joseph more than all his brothers, so they hated him and could not find it within themselves to speak to him on friendly terms. I want to let the parents know, please be careful not to show favoritism to your children. It is wrong for any parent to make the difference between one child and another unless the cause is due to one doing what they have to do and one is not. In other words, one is doing great in school and they're getting blessed because they're doing great in school, and the other is doing terrible in school. That is the only distinction, because there's some things that they're doing. But just by default, be careful, because when you do that, it leads to quarrels in the families. Now, moving on, it says, now Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. They already hated him. Okay? He said to them, listen to the details of this dream which I've dreamed. This is a dream that God gave him. We were binding sheaves, which is grain stalks, in the field, and my sheaf suddenly got up and stood upright and remained standing, and behold, your sheaves stood all around my sheaf and bowed down in respect. His brothers said to him, are you actually going to reign over us, or are you really going to rule and govern over us as your subjects? So they hated him even more about his dreams and his arrogant words. Can I be honest with you and tell you the truth? That people that already dislike you because you're favored will dislike you even more when they hear about your dreams. I want you to also be mindful to be careful who you tell your dreams to, because they're not for everybody. Just because God said that you're supposed to have something, you need to discern, and what they call, you need to learn to read the room. If you already know somebody's hating on you, the last thing you want to bring to them is that God is about to do more of a favoring that he's already given you. You don't want to go telling somebody that you already sense that something about you, they're like, I don't really like the fact that you're being favored by your job, favored by your by other people, by your church, by family members, and then you tell them something that completely says, like he did, you're basically going to bow down to me at some point in time. Later, he would go on, he had another dream, and this time he included the sun and the moon, which they interpreted as being his parents have to bow down to him. And I'm going to speed up through this thing here. It says basically what ended up happening after this here. Keep in mind, the brothers hate him already. They're not going to tell the dad nothing. They're not going to tell anybody anything, but they just treat him on the side. They treat him a certain way on the side. And later on, they kidnap him. They threw him in a pit. Okay, they threw him in a pit. And then they said, nah, we can't do that. And they saw some people coming by that was travelers, and they tried to sell them into slavery. So it's funny that be careful of people that really dislike you. People call them haters and all these other things, because when people are trying to do something against you, they'll do one sin against you because they don't want that thing that you said will come true to come true. And in order to cover up the mess, they'll do another thing to cover up that mess. So in order to say, oh, we left him to die, why don't we sell him off to somebody? So they sold him off to somebody into slavery. Then he was sold. Then he was brought into slavery into what they call Potiphar's house. And then the wife said, "You tried to holler at me," which didn't happen. So they threw him in prison. From prison, he went from prison, sitting in there expecting some type of favor, for certain things, and later on he ended up, again, like people know, he was used to interpret dreams by the king, because the king said, nobody can interpret my dreams. I have all of these people around me and nobody can do, but I heard that you can interpret these dreams. And he did so, and I'm speeding up the process just for the sake of time to say, basically he took the information, told the king what it was going to be. His king put him in charge of his the revenue, the resources, to say, okay, we're going to have 7 years of good growth of the economy, and we're going to have 7 years of poor economy. It's not going to do so well. We're not going to have food. We're going to have a famine. And because of that's what led back to his family coming back to the city, not recognizing who he was, but he ended up giving them favor, giving them food, didn't even take their money. And what ended up happening later on, he ended up bowing down. And I've always seen the scripture, so you can go read yourself. That's in Genesis 37. But I want to say this here is, God gave Joseph a dream of his advancement. It was done to support him during his time of long and grievous troubles. A lot of y'all getting dreams from God, and God said, I want you to dream a thing and dream it big, and you start dreaming and believing for it. The thing he doesn't tell you is the troubles that comes with it. I want you to observe that Joseph dreamed of it, but he didn't dream of him being in prison. And I want to talk to the young people on here. When you're setting out in the world thinking of getting your prosperity, hello, welcome. To my young people, when you're setting out looking at going in the world and you're thinking about getting your prosperity and the pleasure, you don't dream of the trouble that comes along with it. You can't say, you know what, God told me I'm going to be a millionaire, and don't think that someone will see you as favored and do all they can to try to stop you. But in the end, the reason that Joseph got the favor from God is because he said you could have turned your own family away because they discarded you. Can God trust you when you know that people have hated on you, lied on you, went on social media and talked about you, did things behind the scenes? Do you have enough within you to say, it stopped nothing? I can still say hello to you because what you did only elevated me. And this also goes to the same thing that happened with Jesus. And if you put the correlation together, the Jews understood that Jesus said of his kingdom coming. Jesus said, I am come to do something else. His kingdom, determined that he wouldn't reign over them. They consulted to put him to death, and by his crucifixion made way for him to come to the cross. So be mindful of the haters that's doing what they're doing. Don't be so mad at them, because usually these people who are hating on you and seeing you getting favor for whatever reason they see it, whether it's your business, your ministry, your job, the peace you have in your life. Some people hate you just because of your peace. Some hate you just because of the fact you don't have no drama in your life. They hate the fact that when they talk to you, there's no drama to bring up. What's going on? Oh, nothing. Job, work going well. Oh, kids doing well. I've seen this before. I've seen people try to get a response just so they can say, I got you out your character. I knew you wasn't all of that. So I just want to say thank you, Lord, for getting this understanding here. Be mindful, as a recap, be careful who you tell your dreams to. And hold on to those dreams when you're going through it, because you're going to have to go through it to get to your place of purpose. There's no way about it. If you think you're going to have a cakewalk and you're going to get what you're looking for, you are in trouble. If you think you're going to go ahead and say, I'm going to be married, and think there won't be some fight in the middle of that, you are delusional. If you think you're going to start that business and it won't have a dip and a slow time, you are delusional. If you think everything is just going to run, and good, and great, and it's going to keep elevating, you are delusional. Read the room and the circle around you, and be mindful when you're doing these things. Be mindful. Don't be so upset when people are coming after you because you're favored. The people on this line have been favored by God. And I want you to even just touch yourself and put your hand on your chest and say, I am favored by God. I am favored by God. That's what you need to do. And just be mindful. Your dreams are not for everybody. I know you get excited. I know you want to see them come, and I know you want to tell the first person, but I want you to learn how to read the room. I want you to learn how to read the room. Has this person ever been positive about my situation at any point in time? No. If they're on the same level as me and yet they still eyeing me, How will they feel if I'm elevating above them? Keep your mouth closed. Ask God for discernment on who to tell your things to. Your business is not for everybody.